Going. Today I wanted to do a studio tour, but more specifically I'm going to stick to my desk and everything that I use at my desk. So that'll include like markers, pencils, notebooks and stuff that I use on the daily. But let me know in the comments below if you want me to cover like all of the books that I've collected over the years, all the fabric I've accumulated and how I organize it. I'm down for doing a broader studio tour if that's something you'd be interested in. Anyway, let's get into the tour and I'll show you what materials I like to use. Okay, so this is my desk area. I've got these two like crane lamps. This one has a magnifying glass built into it, so I use that for sewing. I have my Bluetooth speaker here. It's kind of hanging off the arm of this lamp. That's my primary way to listen to music, so these are more like storage. In the top here I have drawings from various artists and some of my own work. And in the second drawer, this is all readings from my graduate school years and a lot of like printed out PDFs sort of clumped together. I do reference these still sometimes, so I like to keep them around, but the next drawer I've got my painted metal palette and this attachment for my sewing machine. You can like slide it on like that, and it's got feet on it. It just gives you like a wider sewing area. It makes it easier to sew straight lines if that's something you're bad at. And then these are like, I use these in paintings, as you can see. They're like plastic canvases. This is like I use these for stencils in paintings. But I have a bunch of them. I think I got them at the thrift store for really cheap. So this drawer is all recent work. It's just kind of like where I store what I've been working on, so I can easily pack it for orders. Some of them are in plastic, some of them aren't. I have a shop, so I'll have the link in the description below. Most of these are for sale or are waiting to be listed, so if you see anything that you like, maybe I'll have it for sale in my shop. I tend to sell stuff for pretty cheap. Anyway, this next drawer is all older work. Some of these are etchings. This is like a woodcut that I did. Okay. And on the bottom here, I've just got extra pads. Some extra paper. This is like a linoleum mat that you can carve. Yeah, okay. Next, let's move this cart over and we'll take a look at what's in there. You can see it's on wheels, so it's pretty easy to move. I usually have it right about here when I'm working on drawings or paintings. As you can see, I have a lot of stuff on here. I just recently reorganized it to be a little bit more conducive to how I work. This is a shitty painting that I started yesterday that hopefully I can make better, but it looks pretty bad right now, so. So let's take a look at the first shelf first. The top shelf first. These are all of my like random acrylic paints. These are some like puffy paints that you can use to like put on t-shirts, but I like to use them in paintings because I love craft, especially like craft that teenage girls practice. More paint. Yeah, so this is mostly like acrylics that I don't always reach for. These are the acrylics that I work with the most, and I usually just mix my colors. I got this was like a golden artists set. Yeah, so they had like 2 boxes that you could get. I got the Modern Theory box set. Okay, so those are my golden paints. Those are really good quality acrylics. Next we have, these are the acrylic inks that I use with my airbrush. I don't really paint with them a whole lot. I know some people prefer to use acrylic inks over like watercolor because they're more pigmented. You can see I've used a lot of yellow. Next up we have these weird silicone rubber things that I think you can like comb through paintings and make texture. I've literally never used them in my whole life. I put them out here to remind myself to use them, but I honestly don't think I will. So these are all of my watercolor pencils. I sorted them all out from my normal colored pencils just so I can be reminded to use them. Got my watercolor palette here. This is just a Koi watercolor palette. It's like not the best quality. But it works fine. You can see I'm very messy. And it also comes with this thing that can be used as a palette, but I have a separate palette that I also use to mix colors. Also got my oil pastels over here. I talked about them in the last video. They're the Pastels. I like them a lot. You can see I got lots of little nubbins. In the back here, I've got all of my Tombow markers. Let's move on to the second shelf. To the left here, I've got this pouch. These are all of the chart pack colors that I need to replace. I keep a list in my chart pack bin, but I also separate them from the rest since they're dried out. Next we've got this little plastic guy. It has all of my oil sticks. These are basically like oil paint in crayon form. I love these. I use them on my big paintings. They kind of like replace what I do with oil pastels in my drawings. Next we have this tin. These are all of my dry pastels, plus some like thread. Okay. I don't use these as much. Honestly, it's hard to work with. They smear all over everything. I know you can get fixative for them, but I can't be bothered. Okay, let's go into the drawers next. I've got in this drawer like Conte and some blending stubs, charcoal, some of those chamois that you can blend charcoal with, and then some litho crayons. This drawer is going to be like drawing pencils, more charcoal. What's this? Some Conte. Some light Conte. And then this is like a photo blue pencil. More drawing pencils. Put that back in there and close it. Okay. In these drawers, we've got highlighters and Sharpies and some like glue. More of those little paper pouches. Some stamps. Hole punch. What do you call this? A compass? I think it's called a compass. Nothing too exciting. And then down here, these are all of my like liners. This is my Ami Safari. It's clear. I've got brown ink in there and I love it. These are my favorite set of drawers. They have all my favorite things in there. The top one is all of my watercolor tubes. Most of them, here, let's bring it over here. Most of these are like from high school, which I'm 30? Yeah, I'm 30 now, so they're like 12 years old. You can hear. They're just rattling around in there. There's a googly eye. Who is she? Why is she there? Anyway. So yeah, I sliced this one open and I just like wet it directly in the tube. I know that's like super chaotic, but that's who I am, so yeah. These are my watercolors. I've got my gouaches here, which I used in the last video. Lastly, I've got my Copics in this bottom drawer. Alright, let's move down to the third shelf. This is my card packs. You can see here, if I want to work with them, I pull them off of this shelf. This is just kind of where I store them. But this is an art bin. It's perfect for more markers. That piece of paper that you can see taped on the inside is the list of things that I need to restock. So, I'll close that back up. And then this is just an old mini Barbie suitcase with painting towels and rags and stuff that I reach for if my primary one is unusable. So, just push that back in. Okay, so that's that card. Oh, I didn't talk about my paintbrushes. Duh. I'm trying to pare down what I have. Like, why do I have this? When in my life? Ugh. When in my life am I ever going to use this? I don't know. Let's push this to the side. So on this side, we've just got my sewing machine. It's a Brother CS6000i. I've had it for many, many years. I've never had any problems with it. I've never had to take it into a shop. It's a good sewing machine, and I think I got it for like pretty cheap. I usually have my palette out just so I can be like ready to paint at any time. Like no fear, no fear. Always ready to paint, yes. You can tell how they're going to behave on paper based on how they look in the palette. Like that's acrylic. And this is acrylic. You see how shiny it is? And the watercolor, that's basically what watercolor looks like when you put it on paper. And then compare the, that's dog hair, I'm sorry. Compare the gouache and how that looks, how like velvety and matte it is. To the acrylic. It's like night and day, baby. Anyway. This is my paint rag. I use it for watercolors and acrylics and stuff. It's got thread on it. Everything in my studio has thread on it. These are my 2 paint cups. This is for really dirty brushes to clean them off, and then this I use to like actually pull water for watercolor and stuff. This is my clear ruler I use to measure paper and fabric and such. It's good thing to have. Let's move over here. Yeah. So over here, I got this cart at Michael's recently. I like the color of it a lot. I know IKEA sells these as well, but like not in the same color range, so that's where I store my scissors and my rotary cutter in this cup. Oh, it's heavy though. This cup is by Holy Sea Cow on Instagram. Super cute. I love the pattern and the colors. I keep my erasers in here because it's like the perfect, it's like a little squat thing. It's perfect size for erasers. It's my masking fluid that I use. I just recently got that and did a test for it in a painting, and I like the way it turned out. Let me know if you want a video showing how I use masking fluid. This cup is like random stuff. X-Acto knife, bone folders, Sharpie. This is an awl. You poke holes in paper when you're making books with this. I use this fella. Brushes off dirt and eraser dust so you don't have to smear the graphite drawing underneath. That's nice. Yeah. These are like big, thick markers, paint pens. I like acrylic paint pens a lot. They're super thick. You can see the nib in there. It's great for doing like really bold line work. This is just my phone charger. Some shitty pencils that I'm okay with ruining. Mechanical pencils. This is really the only mechanical pencil I use. Pentel P209 9mm. So these are like Stabilo pins, a random ballpoint. I don't remember who makes this. And over here I keep my studio log. I just keep a log of all of my studio times. I like to keep up with how much time I spend in the studio and whether it increases or not. So that's my studio log. And then on the rest, the last thing on the shelf is these. These are threads that I've been using lately for hand sewing, so I like to keep them nearby so I don't have to fish them out. We have colored pencils. I got this bin at a thrift store, so I have a mix of different brands. Yeah, so that's all my colored pencils. I'll go back down here. These are my sharpeners. I've got blades for my utility knife thing, blades for my rotary cutter. This is a refill for my Pentel brush pen, and some X-Acto blades. These are my headphones. I don't use them often, but I like to keep them in a little jar over here. And this is my washi tapes. I haven't bought any in a long time, but I don't really use them that often, so this is just a little ceramic thing that I got at the thrift store. Put that back down there. Those are just like scrunchies and stuff. There's my embroidery floss. This is my sewing thing. I don't really want to go too in-depth into this. Mostly I just use the stuff that's in the top. It's like my measuring tapes, needles, sewing pins, safety pins. This is a disappearing marker, needles. This is like liquid stitch, a fabric shaver, and then some sewing feet for my machine, which I never use. The rest of it underneath is like not that interesting. Lastly, move this. These are all of the notepads I'm working with right now, so I'll just show you one by one. This is a Muji book. I like the paper on this a lot. This I've been using for YouTube. I just started though. Yeah, so I'll be updating that. This is my, well, I tried to make it into a bullet journal. Let's see here. But, I haven't, like, I haven't really stuck to it. This is, like, the beginning of the year. I'm like, who is successfully bullet journaling in 2020, honestly? Like, are you psycho? This is my current sketchbook. This is a really thick pad of mixed media paper that I got. This is a 7x12 mixed media pad, some Arch 9x12 paper, watercolor paper. It's a block. I don't think I have anything going in those right now. I do have my sketchbook, which I can show you. This is a moleskin. It's in like the largest size you can get, pretty much. Yeah. I was trying to do more sketchbooks in graduate school, but yeah, I've kind of fallen off. Let me know if you guys want a sketchbook tour, and I'll give you one.